like fall asleep and fall into despair.
Oh.
The genetics or
Yeah, they know all their state capitals and everything.
building to show for it. Or in my father's case, city skylines.
It's mostly empty.
Of the nap, which oddly enough, I didn't seem to mind.
We'd be meeting in Kampala, Uganda's capital. She'd be wearing a boyish t-shirt and jeans. But here in South Africa, I can be myself, she did.
Worried. Some people are angry, I get that. But the answer is not to tear our country down. It's to build our country up, not to build walls that keep out the rest of the world, but to keep building the industries and universities that the rest of the world wishes they could get into.
Oh, come on.
Hillary Clinton gets it.
Stop.
And
I really do.
Like a motherfucker, ready to get my serve on. But before I hit the dope spot, gotta get the chronic.
Coming up on Ask Me Another, Sir Patrick Stewart joins us on the Bell House stage, and
Wow, okay.
Applicants about current or previous salaries before making an offer. The law requires hiring managers to offer a compensation figure.
And they raised a long list of issues and arguments that everybody seems to agree the TSA's got to deal with. They've got a terrible morale problem.
All about 2G's flat, no need to worry, my accountant had it, and my whole crew is lounging, celebrating every day, no more public housing.
I'm disappointed, you know, I liked it, we served together, and I've been allied here on a lot of issues, but that was a mistake. It would have been time to, you know, really... Stardust here from Newsmax newspapers. John, what did you make of the speech? You've seen Bill Clinton give a lot of them. How effective do you think this one was?
Major funding for The Bottom Line is provided by the Rhode Island Foundation, using philanthropy to move Rhode Island forward. Details at Rhode Island Foundation.
Alarm starts ringing. What's all the guns? All purpose war got the rock brothers by the door, and I feed them gunpowder so they can devour the criminals trying to drop my decimals. Damn, niggas wanna stick me for my green, and it ain't a dream. Things ain't always what it seems. It's the ones that smoke blunts with ya, see your picture. Now they want to grab the guns and come and get you.
That we had not seen in
Like a mountain peak, and as someone who loves mountains as well, that I found to be moving. He has a picture.
Real.
Oh yeah, that is real. There is nothing more German than that.
Because he says they're not really speedy. You know, he wanted to give them a lot of time to catch them.
They said that Brazil were going to win the World Cup. They didn't last time round.
Judgment is next.
And we only
First heard about this story, I saw it listed.
So, I'm almost surprised that you were willing to have a second child considering the agony of the first birth, though.
Nobody tracked the epidemics to know how many cases spread, but also there's other causes of microcephaly in the world. There's rubella, for which there weren't shots in much of the poor parts of
look like a pharmacy because it's got a big sign
come
on
on.
front that says Elgon Driving.
Traits into a plant. You can do that by classical genetic manipulation. None of the crops that we have today
will affect his legislative agenda and his policy. But furthermore, he's done more to woo Bernie Sanders supporters than he has the base, the grassroots, the people that go and do the work in these states to win.
These wayward kids from Miami Beach that snuck into the halls of power started to get some unwanted attention.
Because we were winning so many contracts.
And he offers some thoughts on producing podcasts for an audience. Al also has a manifesto with Transom about diversity in public radio.
When we got there, the vehicle was messed up. The entire front was just blown to pieces. There was motor oil everywhere.
Because I just thought, bad things happen sometimes. Bad things.
The car will be packed and ready to go back home. But it's been 87.
voice. Nigeria is a very diverse and complex dynamic.
Of polls from Real Clear Politics actually has Donald Trump by a very tiny margin, well within the margin of error, but by a very...
Because of his wasta, which is an Arabic word for influence, and at that...
Identifying the problem and treating it in the correct way. And when it comes to making things, we hear who comes absolutely at the top.
He writes, the court concludes that it was arbitrary and capricious for the service.
And we are ecstatic. We are just so happy beyond our wildest dreams of coming to America.
You're listening to All Things Considered. Health insurance company mergers will be dissected in
all the more dramatic is that it should come on the final day of the Republican convention, at a time when a deeply divided conservative movement, of which he was such a fixture,
states as Hillary Clinton becomes the first woman to be nominated for president by any major party.
Another neighbor
denied schooling. She challenged a system that kept teen boys in the same jails as grown men.
There have been reports that Bernie Sanders people are going to walk out. We don't see any sign of it yet. Right now, all eyes are Asian, Russian, and East European Studies at Georgetown University, as well as a senior fellow at the Brookings Institution. Cameron and Angela, stay with us. We're going to pause.
Second quarter growth numbers, a fairly muted end of the week on Wall Street. The Dow was down 24 points at 18,432. The S&P 500 rose 3 points.
Say they've used helicopters to destroy more than 100 cocaine laboratories hidden in the jungle. Officials said the 5-day operation was part of a new strategy to target producers and
our stations. Other contributors include the NPR Shop, where you'll find an assortment of American-made ceramic mugs celebrating public radio.
He's had a very good Fenway debut so far. Single.
Just go wild. I would run around, I'd play in the creeks, I'd jump off the banks, I'd climb trees, everything. It was my favorite thing to do.
Join us for a storyboard listening party to hear what's
We're give it to you, but Darren, can you please explain your food creation?
I make the raindrop cake. Come on to different backgrounds. Some of them
came from a more urban middle-class background. Some of them came from a more rural working-class background.
Libertarian Gary Johnson and Green Party Jill Stein. Sign up at our website, onpointradio.org. I'm on Twitter,